boy. All right, this isn't going to be my typical review of a flashlight. Actually, I've already reviewed this before, probably about a month ago. This is a Wowtac W1. This is a new EDC light from Wowtac. I'm going to go put this thing through a battery of tests, real world tests. I'm not fudging it. I'm not trying to make it stage it, make it look like it's something it's not. And you'll see here, you'll probably be amazed. The reason why I'm doing it is, one, I've reviewed every Wowtac that they've had out, and I've even reviewed all the A-Tacticals, which that's what they were called before Wowtac. And I've never had a problem with any one of their lights. One battery, I think, died on me. I've given the flashlights to pretty much my friends and relatives, and they're still running, all of them. And so much so I've ordered, I think, 5 lights of the one kind because people wanted them so bad. And I want to show people just how rugged these lights are. Now, granted, a lot of flashlights out there, they're all rugged. You take your chance if you beat on them. Just like the Through Nights, which Wowtac is technically supported by Through Night, they are very well built flashlights. So much so, I'm quite sure you'll be amazed at what all that I run this thing through. Wowtac did send me a brand new one in case something happens to this one, which I've already got my testing done, and you're sitting here looking at it. I got me a free light. I'll real quick cover the specs, but won't take too long. If you long press it, you got your 2 lumen Firefly. If you turn it on, you got low mode, medium, and high, and it's a very beautifully focused and spill beam. You double click, you go into turbo. And all that's powered by one little tiny 650 milliamp 16340 battery. You can run CR123s in here, but it really does get the job done. And you got a micro USB to charge it, so you don't have to take the battery out. It's got a heck of a magnetic base. Short of that, I don't want to cover too much more on it. Like I said, I put a different video review up on this. As you can see, this thing is beat to no end. It's because I've already ran it through the test, and it's surprisingly in good shape for testing. But we're going to get outside right away, and we're going to get rolling on this thing. Let's go beat on it. All right, I think for the first test, what we're going to do is go find us some water. To do that, I'll have to drive a little bit, go down to the creek. We'll test it out from there. See how it does. Whoops. Shut it off. When I ran it over, I ended up shutting it off. Still works good. It's obviously quite waterproof. We can go in a little bit deeper here to about a foot and a half. Quite waterproof. Now for the road test. A little bit beat up. Still working. Switching lights intact. Everything good. Let's go a little bit heavier. boy. And it's on. All right, I'm gonna toss this probably about 40, 50 feet through the air. Try to go kind of high up. I do believe they only warrant it for 1.5 meters for drops. I know throwing it 40 feet into the lawn is a little bit different. What about throwing it like 15 feet, 10, 15 feet in the gravel? Still rolling. All right, next up is cement. Still working good. Look at that. I don't know what else to do with this other than freeze it. All right, so now I made that acid test outside quite well. And actually, with the car, I left this on the clip, and it made it. Look at that. She's beat up. So now what we're gonna do is stick it in the freezer. And I don't know if I'll just put it in the freezer and then take a temp gun. I might throw it in a pan of water and let the water freeze and leave it on the firefly mode. But I'm asking for trouble there because it'll probably be underwater for a couple of hours and then get cold, metal expanding and contracting. So we'll see. But that would be the ultimate acid test there, wouldn't it? So let's get that done. Well, I don't think I have to worry about getting the temp gauge out. I've had this in a freezer for north of probably 2 hours, and it isn't totally freezing by the light because I left it on. Look at that. And that's what's keeping it partway melted. I'm sure in time it would have totally froze. We're going to let it dry out and see if everything still functions good. Pretty nice. Alright, so I'm not going to go into greatest detail on the beam shots on this. I have a previous video up showing that in depth. But for those viewers that have never seen this little tiny light in action, that tree is 62 meters away, and that's what you can expect out of this thing. I'm on turbo right now, and I think that runs like 1.5 minutes, and then it'll drop down, but it's more than enough. That tree is 94 meters away, and as you can see there, the up to 140 or so, maybe even more meters back, it takes that tree line and does a very good job of lighting that up, this little tiny light. But even on high, I'll show you here, turn it down. That's high. And you can see a tree at 94 meters away, even on high. You get closer, 62 meter tree with this little tiny EDC light lights it up pretty good. I'm very impressed with it. The battery life is actually real good on high, and it's more than enough. There's turbo. Pretty cool, huh? So I don't want to get into real in-depth on the beams on it, but medium, can I hit that tree? It's bouncing off that tree at 62 meters on medium. It's well focused and a decent spill on this thing. So that's the light output. You always got your blue light shining on your switch when it is on. It's pretty neat. All right, how could you go wrong? Could you say this is the world's toughest? I don't know. But it sure held up to everything I gave it, and I'm sure it would hold up to quite a bit more. I was worried that the glass was going to crack. That never cracked. I was worried the switch was going to mess up. That didn't mess up. I even ran it over with my Trans Am with the clip on. The clip made it. That was impressive. And unscrewing this thing, looks quite clean in there. Threads are good. Battery's good. Still charges. Check out the link down below, and there will be some freebies, I'm sure. Maybe something to do with extra goodies as far as sales. I know they said they'd be giving away some lights, so isn't going to hurt to check that out. Awesome little light. So there you go. Wowtac W1. Till next time.